Welcome, everybody. We are here with the one and only Eric Trump, son of the president-elect, the next president of the United States, Donald Trump, the 47th president of the United States. So, Eric, we are here at Bitcoin MENA. We were just talking about it. It's quite an experience. Your impressions so far?
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. when I walked in here, I ran into a high school friend.
Okay.
Literally walked right through the doors. There are people from the U.S., there's people from Canada, there's people from South America, probably much more diverse than I otherwise thought it would be, obviously, being in the Gulf. I mean, people traveled some serious miles to be here, and obviously love it. The energy in there is incredible, and I'm excited to be here. I'm honored to be here.
Amazing. We appreciate you being here. One of the reasons you're here, you're about to give a keynote address, from what I understand. Any sort of hints at what you might be talking about?
Well, I don't think it comes as any surprise that we love Bitcoin, we love crypto, we love the industry, and frankly, it's an industry that's been totally under attack. It's been under siege. You saw what Gary Gensler did in the United States to it, and my father came out and said, listen, stop this nonsense, stop the weaponization, stop the taxation, stop the legal lawfare. We're going to stop it. And, he frankly pledged to make America the crypto capital of the world. And, I hope everybody understands it. If we don't embrace it now, we're going to be left behind. America as a country will be left behind. And any country that doesn't embrace it will be left behind. And, we are at the parapet of really kind of a financial revolution around the world. It doesn't make sense. The current financial system doesn't make any sense. It's slow as hell. It's expensive as hell. It's antiquated. It benefits guys like me a lot more than it benefits the average person. It leaves the vast majority of people behind. And when you start understanding that, you understand what's to come, right? And when you understand the possibilities with payment processing, the way I receive money from guests at our hotels, members at our clubs, initiation fees, office rents, commercial rents, CAM in our buildings. Yep. It really revolutionizes that. The way you send money overseas, the way you send money internationally, the way you conduct international business. All of these things really digital currency revolutionized, but I still can't figure it out. You have somebody who wants to go buy a house. It takes them 120 days to fill out a loan application and get financing.
Yep.
Right? By then your dream is shattered. It's gone. We do have these things in the world. Or, they're phones that are connected to sophisticated networks 24 hours a day. Why isn't that powering your finance and every aspect of your finance? And that's what crypto really allows. And a lot of us see it. You see it. I see it. Everybody in this room sees this. Why we're all diving in deep. There's a tremendous amount of people around the world that don't see it. Even as Bitcoin hits 100,000, they're still not seeing it. And I think that's a massive advantage to the people who are here. The people whose eyes are opened right now are the people who are going to reap major awards. The people who are still blind to it are the people who are going to get left behind. And so just know that our family supports it. We love it. This community supported us so much. The way they came out to for my father in the election 4 weeks ago was unbelievable. But we're here to stay, and I just know that obviously this industry has a great friend in our family. They've got a great friend in my father, and I think you're going to see kind of transformational change, at least in kind of the Western countries, from what you've seen over the last 4 years.
Amazing. Well, we really appreciate it, and we appreciate the support of your father. So one of the things that sort of really took me by surprise is just how much, I spoke with your brother at Nashville, actually, Don Jr., and we were talking, and I was just amazed at how sort of educated you've become. You really seem to have understood the technology a lot. This wasn't just like, oh, people like Bitcoin, I guess we'll be pro-Bitcoin. It seems like you've really done your homework. What has that process been like for you and your family?
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm a bricks and mortars guy. I've spent my entire life walking construction sites, and people always ask, okay, so you build buildings, you build golf courses, you build commercial buildings, you operate these buildings every day. Kind of why the love? Because I think they can hear the real sincerity in our voices, right? Where these aren't sound bites. And if you really look at real estate, it's tangible. You can feel it. It has energy. And when you look at Bitcoin, it's actually very much the same, but it has so many of the counterbalances that might otherwise be considered flaws of real estate. And listen, we're a real estate family. It's what we love. It's what we know. We know it better than anybody. But if you want to talk about a hedge against real estate, think about something that's immediately liquid.
Yep.
Right? And that's what cryptocurrency is. If I have a hotel, I can spend 5 years, I can build a hotel. If I want to sell that hotel, it could take me 2 years to sell that property. Now, there are a lot of benefits to real estate. There's a lot of leverage benefits to real estate. There's a lot of tax benefits to real estate. But real estate is illiquid. What's a better hedge to real estate than something that's instantaneously liquid, right? What's has more downside protection than something that you can literally fit in a key fob in a ledger in your pocket. You can't move real estate. I can't take Trump Tower on 57th to 5th.
It would be tough, right?
And move that over to London if London happens to be a better market, or I can't move that to Singapore or the UAE where we are right now. So something that can be transported very easily, right? It's digital currency. It doesn't have fees. There's no brokers. There's no bankers, there's no lawyers, there's no title companies, there's no middlemen, there's no risk of fire, there's no risk of floods or tornadoes or hurricanes, right? I mean, there's a lot of downside protections that crypto can have that real estate, being a tangible hard asset, it doesn't have. And so I look at the two in concert. I look at this being an unbelievable hedge to this. I also look at crypto, as I said before, as something that people can get into who might not have our last name, who might not have our balance sheet. I mean,
can't afford a full building or a house.
Congratulations, 99% of people, and this is no disrespect, they can't go out and build a 70, 80-story building on Fifth Avenue in New York. The entry costs are too high.
100%.
Not to mention, they'll never find the piece of land, they'll never get it entitled, they'll never get it permitted. But they can put into an asset that historically has actually, over the last number of years, has had significant levels of return higher than most real estate. And that's a beautiful thing. And you take people in developing countries and developing nations, people who otherwise don't have a chance, and crypto actually gives them a chance to invest, a chance to succeed, a chance to maybe get lucky and transform their lives. And that's a beautiful thing, and I think it's going to be, listen, it's the future. Make no mistake, it's the future. And again, I really believe that the people who embrace it early are going to succeed. The people who don't will, as I said before, get left behind.
Yeah. So we're in Abu Dhabi here. We're talking about this. We have people from all over the world. As you mentioned, you said, wow, it's amazing how diverse the crowd is. Can you talk a little bit about, you touched on it, but a little bit about the importance of the U.S. leading here? What signal is that sending to the world? And also just idea of, it's just a fact that sort of the regulation that we put out there, oftentimes it gets copied and pasted, right? Just touch on that a little bit if you don't mind. Just what signal we're sending the world by saying that we want to be the Bitcoin/crypto capital of the world.
Sure. Well, listen, obviously we're the superpower of the world, and what we do generally gets followed by others, right? We have the years of experience, we have the know-how, we have the brain power, right? I mean, we have obviously a very robust legal system in our country. Don't get me wrong, it goes wrong, and I've seen it go wrong in very big ways, and I've been on the receiving end. Just so you know, another reason I believe in crypto, had it not been for the weaponization of government against our family, I probably wouldn't have found that this early. But we lead the way in everything we do. We lead the way in new technologies. We lead the way as a country in virtually everything. Certainly in the financial system, instability around the world, and I think there are a lot of countries. The vast majority of countries look to kind of the wiseness of America. Look to the education of America, kind of the brains of America, to chart the course on complicated technologies. We're doing so with AI. We certainly did so in the space race, right? All these things that America by de facto led in, and I think we're going to do that in the digital revolution, and I think we frankly have to. And if we don't do it, somebody else is going to do it. And frankly, I don't think it would get done as well, as confidently, but America has to be the crypto superpower. We're committed to doing it. My father has talked about adding it to the national, treasury, as you know very well. He's talked about obviously making cryptos developed in the U.S. tax-free. I mean, there's so many things that he's wanted to do, but he wants to lead the way. And there's a lot of things that come as a result of that, right? I mean, energy being obviously the most obvious ones. You have to invest in energy. You have to invest in power. You have to get the regulators the hell out of the way. And I think actually the entire crypto industry, I get this a lot from people who aren't in the know, America and the crypto people are anti-regulation. No, we're not anti-regulation. We're just very pro-common sense regulation, and we're very pro having very definitive guidelines. Everybody wants clear guidelines in which they can operate in, and they've never been set out. Yet you had SEC chairmen in the United States who were just suing the hell out of everybody for any and no reason whatsoever. They couldn't spell crypto. They didn't understand anything about crypto. They were anti-crypto to the core. And so they just made a muck of a system that they actually could have really figured out a way to give perfect guide rails, have smart regulations that everybody wants. I mean, every common sense person wants it, but then allow capitalism to flourish, and America would lead the way. And again, under my father's leadership, we'll do exactly that. And I'm proud of him. I'm proud of the way this industry has embraced him, and I'm proud of his commitment to do that.
Amazing. Well, we appreciate it as well. As a final question, I'm just kind of curious. So Bitcoin is sort of this almost like, it's this digital sort of nation-state force in the world, right? People identify as Bitcoiners, right? There's just sort of this collective of people who really believe in this. And I think back to your dad speaking at Nashville and him saying certain things and watching the reaction from the crowd and being like, Oh, you guys are really into this. Like, you guys are really into it. And as I mentioned earlier, I was at PubKey when he came to pay for the burgers, and he seems to really, really genuinely appreciate the enthusiasm. I'm curious, has it been a surprise to sort of see what sort of a force like Bitcoiners are in the world? Has that sort of been an eye-opening moment? And then seeing them as a voting bloc as well in this last election?
Well, they sure as hell were a voting bloc in this last election. And I was really proud when I saw my father get up on stage and in Miami. And I mean, the enthusiasm from that crowd, as you said, was unbelievable. But instantaneously, I mean, the entire industry kind of just wanted to hug him, right? It was such like a breath of fresh air for an industry that had otherwise kind of not been represented, that had otherwise kind of been shunned, that didn't have their place, and all of a sudden they found solace in a guy that they liked, that they trusted, who understood high finance better than anybody, who was an innovative person in just about everything he's done in his life, and could kind of see past the traditional. I think it gave people not only hope in what they believed in, but also hope in a country that they believed in, that they thought was otherwise kind of floundering in that world. I mean, listen, we're over in a part of the world that has unlimited money, right, from oil and gas and a lot of other resources, and you see some of these sovereign wealth funds, and they're investing in crypto by the billions, right? And yet America, that should lead the way on everything, was kind of lost in the woods under the last administration. And I'm pretty convinced the last administration could neither smell crypto, nor could they spell AI. I mean, they were incompetent. They were asleep at the wheel. They didn't understand the concepts. They didn't understand why this would be important. They didn't understand why the technologies could be, transformative to the world. And so I think my father and crypto almost married in this maybe unusual marriage. I'm not actually sure if the average crypto voter was actually traditionally a conservative or Republican. At the same time, so many of the things that they did to my father and our family, they came after us. They weaponized the system. They weaponized the financial system against us. I can't tell you how many banks were literally told, hey, if you do business with them, regulators would go to the banks. If you do business with them, we might not treat that kindly. We might come in here and do some audits and do some other things. And I mean, we were part of woke cancel culture. And by the way, you guys have sure as hell, and when I say you guys, all of us, but in the crypto space, you've been part of that same cancel culture as well. You've been part of that same weaponization as well. The Bitcoiners and the crypto people saw exactly what they were doing to my family and our father, and they're sitting there saying, hey, this looks eerily familiar to what's happened to us. And so all of a sudden these two groups of people came together and they voted. They voted, they raised money, they voted, they got their voices out there. And you look at the ultimate result, right? We won the popular vote, we won the electoral college, this was one of the greatest.
Major swing states.
It's one of the greatest. I mean, we won every swing state, to be exact, right? I mean, every swing state we won decisively, and here we are together, and it's going to be a beautiful thing for the crypto community. Again, we believe. You can hear in my voice that we believe. These aren't sound bites. I mean, this is the real world, and so it's a beautiful industry, a beautiful family, a great leader coming together, and I think great things are going to happen as a result of it.
I think that's as good of a place as any to leave it. So, Eric, thank you so much for taking the time to do this and for being with us here at Bitcoin MENA. Thanks so much again. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Is your company ready for the next evolution in financial strategy? Bitcoin for Corporations is your partner in securing the future of your business. With exclusive membership benefits, our comprehensive masterclass, and a network of trusted service providers, we provide the insights and resources to help you incorporate Bitcoin into your financial strategy, ensuring stability and long-term value. Strengthen your business. Innovate with confidence. Bitcoin for Corporations, protecting your treasury and positioning you for the future.